Hey everyone, it's Ryan Leonard with Wolfnest Property Management, and today we're going to be talking about how often you as a landlord should be inspecting your property. Really the whole point behind inspections is to really get eyes on the property. Now, we've all heard horror stories that, oh, I had a tenant living in there for 12 months or 24 months or 3 years. They always paid on time, never really had any nuisance issues. But come the move-out inspection, once that tenant has vacated, the owner finds thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damages. Now, one of the great things that you can do as a landlord is inspect that property during the term of the lease. Now, just because the tenant lives there doesn't mean that you can't charge them for any damage that you find during one of those inspections. It's also a great time to catch any lease violations or anything, even maintenance repairs that need to get done that the tenant may not be aware of, so you can address them before they linger and get worse and worse. So, what constitutes as an inspection? Now, some management companies and some owners believe that an inspection can really be done by driving by the property. If the outside looks like it's okay, you don't see trash in the yard, a bunch of cars, or just issues from the road, everything is hunky-dory inside, and that's just usually not the case. So really, when you're doing an inspection, there's an inspection report that you want to have. Now, if you're doing this yourself, just having a clean report or notes with the date, also photos, videos of the interior of the property, and even the exterior things that you want. If there happened to be an issue and it were to go to court, you want hard evidence, and hearsay or I saw this doesn't hold up in court. Having documented and dated photos with detailed notes is the best way to have that hold up in court. Now, how often you should inspect the property? Really, my rule of thumb is whenever you can. The more, the better. But obviously, there's going to be some opportunities at certain points of the lease or throughout the term of that tenant where it's going to be a little bit more advantageous to do that. So let's take a look at some of those. Now, the most important inspection that you are going to do as a landlord is going to be that move-in inspection. Again, you want to have a dated or time-stamped videos or photos, detailed reports. Also, here at Wolfnest, we always have professional cleaning invoices dated within 30 days of moving in on any of the carpets, as well as the interior cleaning, because then we have our tenants pay for that on move-out for the next tenant. But again, the most important, move in. Have interior, exterior photos, video, and we also do commercial blacklight testing on the flooring. So if there's brand new carpet when this tenant moves in and then they move out, it doesn't look like there's any damage to the carpet, but we turn on that blacklight and we see pet urine throughout the home. That's not something that you just spot treat. You're actually ripping out carpet, the padding, kills on the subfloor, and then re-padding and recarpeting that room, and we'll have the tenant be held accountable for that. Next one is maintenance visits. Now, whether you're doing the maintenance yourself as a landlord, you're using a company, really just ask them, don't go in there with blinders on. If you're here to inspect or repair the disposal, don't just walk in and, turn a blind eye to everything. As you're going into that property, just take a mental note of everything. And also, if you're not going, your vendors are, tell them the same thing. Hey, while you're there, if you see any issues, if the house is dirty, let me know so that I can follow up and do another inspection. Now, this usually doesn't happen too often, but if it does, by all means, it's going to warrant a surprise inspection. Now, there's different levels of law enforcement being called to the property, but if it's a nuisance issue, let's say a noise complaint, that could warrant a inspection depending on what's in your lease. But anytime the police are called and there is a police report, by all means go and get eyes on that property. And if it's a hostile situation, do not go by yourself. Go with a friend or a family member or someone that you trust. And bottom line, if your gut doesn't feel good about entering that home, do not go. Do a quality check or call it into the police, say that you would like some assistance, because again, you never want to put yourself in a dangerous way. Now, here at Wolfnest, we have a semi-annual inspection plan, which is really if it's a 12-month lease, we like to go at month 4 and at month 10. Month 4, because we want to see any damage that may occur during move-in. Did they put a couch through the wall that they haven't repaired yet? Also a good time to see if there's any unauthorized occupants. We're literally counting toothbrushes, counting the number of beds. If there's not a dog on the lease, we shouldn't see a dog bowl or a leash laying around. And then at month 10 is great because if we find damage 2 months before they move out, we can get that repaired so that we can still have that full deposit when that tenant does vacate, so that we can repair anything that we find that we didn't see in that month 10 inspection, because they're going to be moving artwork or TVs, moving couches, and when those things are gone is when we're going to see any damage that we may have missed during that semi-annual inspection. And then the last one is the move-out inspection. Debatably the second most important, because this is how you hold everyone accountable. And if that home is in pristine condition when that tenant moves in, it is very easy to say, there was no damage to this wall, now there is damage, we're charging you for it. So again, move-out inspection, make sure when you're doing the deposit disposition, which typically has to be done within 30 days of that tenant moving out, that you have professional vendor invoices showing the work that was done. Also, the more documentation, the better. Don't just say there was damage to a wall. Take a photo of it, take a video of it, because if they can test that disposition, you're going to find yourself in small claims court, and you want to make sure that you have all the evidence to discredit them, fighting that. So, bottom line, when you're doing your inspection, spend the time necessary to do it right. Do not just walk through there quickly and a simple handshake. You want to make sure that it's documented, photos, videos, notes. And if you have any questions about how to do a proper inspection, please reach out to us. I'd be happy to walk you through how we do our inspections. And even if you have a property that's currently occupied, feel free to reach out to us. We can come in mid-lease and take care of that move-out inspection and make sure it's done the right way. So here's all my contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and we'll be happy to discuss it in a little bit more depth. So again, phone and email, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks.